No hurry. No hurry. You always show up. Don't feel me now.
This one? Who's got which mic? This is you. All right.
Test, 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 test. Hey, Brian, text out to the groups, the various groups that see this live stream.
This is true. I think absolutely this is a very practical. Yeah, sorry for sending you like.
Okay, we're about to get started. Slide in as much as you can to make sure you're in the shot. Is everybody in? Okay. Let me know when you're ready to begin. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Corey Jenkins. I am a member of Riverside Chapel Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I am a member of NOAH, which is Nashville Organized for Action and Hope. I am the co-chair for the Economic Equity Jobs and Transportation Task Force. And I come here today on behalf of NOAH to announce that we have voted and our board of directors has approved and endorsed Nashville's transit improvement plan named Choose How You Move. For 10 years, NOAH has advocated, fought, and won many battles on behalf of all citizens here in Nashville in the areas of affordable housing, education, criminal justice, and economic equity. And so when the transit bill was first discussed, we tore into it to try to learn as much as we could, to try to understand it fully, and to determine how much equity and how much diversity economically for all people it would provide. We put about 8 months of work into it, and we determined that it was a fantastic bill. And I'm sure some of you have heard of it, but I will go over a few highlights for you just so you can understand why we think it's a great bill. First of all, it provides 86 miles of sidewalks. And I'm not a native Nashvilleian, but when I got here, I was surprised at how few sidewalks we have. So it's going to help a tremendous amount for children, for elderly people, for other people who walk or bike to have sidewalks. Secondly, traffic signals are going to be synchronized so that if a bus is running behind, they can change the lights so that they can move quickly and effectively to stay on task, to move people the way that they need to get to where they need to get to. No more being overly late to work or anywhere else because the transit system is slow and stuck behind lights. Strategically positioned transit centers. There are going to be 12 transit centers around the county that provide a lot of stability as well as transferability to the brand new routes that are going to be created, which go across the city, not just downtown. So as my co-chair likes to say, you can go from Bordeaux to the B&A airport without having to go through downtown for the first time ever. New park and ride facilities so that people who want to drive from their house can go and park and jump on the transit to get to where they need to get to in a safe, effective manner. The park and ride, the actual parking spaces will be free, and their normal cost to ride on the bus will be what they normally pay. 80% of new routes will be walkable to historically underrepresented communities. That's huge. That's huge. 100% of the frequently traveled routes will be walkable to high concentrations of zero-car households. 80% increase in total bus hours. We're going from the hours that currently are to 24/7, 365, which is tremendous for those that need to not just get to work, but get to play or even get back home. For people maybe that work downtown and get off work at 3 in the morning, they don't have to get an Uber or have somebody come pick them up. They can hop on transit and get back home. Increased bus ridership will lead to less pollution and smog, less frustration, less cars on the road, less road rage, hopefully. Let's hope. And it'll provide tremendous benefits for all of our citizens, whether you actually use the transit system or not. Now, when we first dug into this, there were things about it that we didn't necessarily like. But the more we investigated, the more we found that there were some things that we just couldn't change. So we came up with what we thought were equity provisions to make this possibly the most equitable piece of legislation ever in the history of Nashville. And to explain those provisions, I introduced the co-chair of our Integrated Voter Engagement Task Force or Committee, Terry O'Neill.
Hey everybody, my name is Terry O'Neill. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a member of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville, and as Corey said, I'm the chair of the Integrated Voter Engagement for NOAA. We all know that funding services by sales tax is a regressive way to fund things. Property taxes are also regressive. We know that Tennessee as a state has a habit of imposing taxes in a very regressive way, which simply means that the wealthiest don't pay their fair share, leaving the rest of us, the middle class, the working class, low-income individuals, to pay disproportionately for all of the government services that we need and benefit from. That's a problem that NOAA is addressing. It is a long-range problem. In the immediate term, we are looking at this transit plan and how can we make this transit plan as equitable as we can given the larger challenges that Tennessee faces. Well, this is what we've been working with the mayor's office and with WEGO to create. Number one, we will be working for free fares for people below a certain income level, 60% of the area median income, for example. The numbers are not carved in stone. NOAA will be advocating very strongly to get free fares for the people who are the lowest income in our community, who are therefore paying disproportionately the most for this transit plan. We also are going to be working to eliminate the grocery tax in Nashville. We have permission from the state, thanks to legislation that was passed this year, that Nashville can eliminate the grocery sales tax, and that will be enormously helpful for working families. We think that there should be a parking surcharge downtown. That will bring in some money that will help pay for the transit. And we think it's extremely important. Sure, gotcha. It's good. It's extremely important for the advisory board. Currently, there are two advisory boards, the Technical Advisory Board and the Community Advisory Board, working on the transit plan with the mayor's office. We understand there will be one advisory board continuing. We want to make sure that community members, those who are most in touch with the needs of the people of this city, are on that advisory board. We also want to prioritize. This is a 15-year program. Remember, all of these improvements are going to happen over a 15-year period of time. We want marginalized communities to be addressed first. These wonderful corridors that are going to make the roads safe for pedestrians and bicyclists and buses as much as for cars, that needs to be, the prioritization needs to be along Nolensville Pike, for example, and other corridors where marginalized communities will benefit from them. We also want to have additional access rides. We think that people who use access, that have disabilities that use that, should not be paying extra for that, even though it's more expensive. Individuals with disabilities don't have a lot of money. We want to have more equity built into that system. And we want free fares for all Metro Nashville public school employees. Currently, many MNPS employees do have free fares, but not all. The custodial staff, the kitchen staff, the other workers in the public schools need to have free fares just as much as anybody else. And finally, multilingual signage. WeGo is already working on this. We're very pleased to see. We will continue to advocate for people who have low English proficiency to be able to use the bus system and to be able to read the information they need in their own language, such as not just Spanish, but Arabic and Somali and other languages. So with that, those are the equity provisions that we're working on. We'll continue to do it, and we'll keep you informed of our success.
Thank you very much, Terry. That was wonderful. And so you can see why, with the provisions that are currently in the plan, and then with getting positive confirmation from the mayor's office on these equity provisions, why we thought it was a slam dunk to support this plan. In fact, the vote was 21-0 for our board of directors to support this plan. So what we're asking today is, don't ignore this. Pay attention. This is important for the security and the vitality and the growth of Nashville. Every single resident of Davidson County needs to not only go out and check and make sure you're on the register to vote, because a lot of people have been purged, make sure you're still on the rolls, and then go out and vote. We're being told that this referendum might actually be at the bottom of the ballot, so I need you to be a little bit more responsible and go through the entire ballot. Not just who you want for president or who you want for other. Go through the entire ballot and check this off. The last time we had an opportunity to vote for this was 7 years ago. We cannot afford to go 7 more years before we can have an opportunity to improve our transit system. So based upon that, I call on every Nashvilleian, every Davidson County resident to please go out and vote yes on the transit referendum. Are there any questions I can answer at this time?
Of all of those things you listed, is there anything that's more important than the others? Or what is your most important?
The provisions in the bill or our equity provisions? I don't think there's anything that's more important. All of these things are absolutely necessary. Changing the most dangerous intersections so that they are less dangerous is really important, because they want to have a zero fatality on the roads in a few years. So in order to do that, you got to change those things. You got to get this signal synchronized. Otherwise, it's still going to be gridlock. I sat this morning in traffic for like 15 minutes behind a long line because the light would change for a minute and then stop. And maybe 6 or 7 cars got through when 20 need to go through. With synchronized lights, that could happen. 86 miles of sidewalks. I don't know about you, but I've gone down Ewing Drive before, and I've watched children on their way to school walking along the edge of the road, cars flying by at 50 miles an hour. It's only the grace of God that no children get hit every single day, but it's possible. There's nowhere for them to walk. It's either a ditch or the road. None of these things we can do without. We need all of them in order to have a better plan. And I tell people all the time, and I know they're tired of hearing me say it, but I'm 52 years old. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. When I was born 52 years ago, Cleveland had a better transit plan than we have today. We have to do better. Now is the time. There may not be another time for many, many years. Now is the time to get that done.
Why are you guys so passionate about it? You're so passionate about it.
Because we realize, and many of us have our own stories. If I could bring them up to tell their stories, we've all experienced either racism or classism or sexism or in many different ways around in our lives. And we realize that the only way that we can affect that is if we work together. Almost everybody you see that works with NOAA is a volunteer. They give of their time, their energy, their effort to make their community better. It's not about them personally, it's about the community. It's about their church. It's about their nonprofit, their union that they're a part of. And so working together, we can accomplish more. And seeing it actually work, seeing it actually happen, creates that passion for us.
You guys mentioned equity and how this plan will help with equity in the different languages, but does this plan help go into the neighborhoods that might need it the most?
Yeah. So one of our equity provisions, well, first of all, in the plan, marginalized areas are prioritized to receive additional routes. It says here that 80% of the routes will go to areas that before didn't have walkability to get to a bus stop. But in our equity provision, we ask that we move those corridors, say Nolensville, Clarksville Highway, Gallatin Road, or Dickerson Road, up to the front of the line. We understand the politics, that we hope that Freddie stays in office for 2 terms, but it's possible that he only gets 1 term. If that happens, whoever comes next, we want to have those marginalized areas taken care of first and out of the way and done, so that those people can see where their dollars are spending are going, and they can see that the process works, that if we work together, we get things accomplished together. Any other questions I can answer?
You just mentioned the dollars. Is there any questions about the funding, how this is going to be funded?
There are a lot of questions about the funding, and to be honest with you, our task force at first did not like the funding at all, and it made us doubt the entire plan. But once we got more information, we had probably 30 meetings with stakeholders in the community, and we discovered that the way that the state law is written, this is the only way that this can be accomplished and actually access federal dollars that will go away shortly. So in order to access those dollars, to get this done with enough money to get the process completed, we had to do it this way. Not what we would like, but that's where we came up with the equity provisions. And so when you take the pros and the cons, and then you add in the equity provisions, it's a huge win on every level.
You mentioned you got a positive response when you talked to the mayor about the equity provisions. What does that mean going forward? Do you foresee those provisions being added in legislation in some type of way in the future?
For what the response we got from the mayor's office was that, first of all, they've been thinking about almost all of these provisions themselves. They just didn't have time to actually put it in the referendum with the timeline they had available. So a lot of these things they're already initializing and getting going already. We asked them to take it a step further, like lower the AMI threshold, go into marginalized areas, do additional things, but they were thinking along those lines anyway. So they said, hey, we definitely can agree to that because we were thinking of doing that anyway. But it feels good to know that we were thinking on the same page, that the needs of the people, that when we go out and we canvass and we talk to people, they say what they want and need was being heard in the mayor's office. And we appreciate it, and we're going to continue to work to get those details nailed down so that people can actually see the right results happen. Will it be any legislation? I don't know for a fact. That's the mayor's purview. But I know we're going to keep advocating. We're not going to stop until it's done. Okay, so we do have a couple of people from the mayor's campaign that can come up and speak if they want to share some thoughts. Jeff, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Jeff Morris. I am the Executive Director of the Nashville Moves campaign. We are the independent campaign to support transportation improvement in Nashville. Quite honestly, today is a super exciting day because the support of NOAA means that it's a representation of the support of Nashville. When we look at this city and this plan that was built for this city, we think about one of the things that people talk to us as the campaign. We are the people who talk to Nashvillians the most. And the thing that they say to us is that they want plans. They want plans for the idea that we are growing. We are growing at an exponential rate. And we need plans to accommodate for the results of that growth. Growth in terms of traffic, in terms of affordability, and that's what this plan ultimately is. It's not necessarily just sidewalks. It's not just signals. It's not just WeGo service improvement. It's not just safety improvements. In actuality, what this really is, it's a holistic approach to how Nashvillians move around the city. And it's an attempt to actually accommodate for the fact that it's hard to get places. It's hard to get around this town. It's hard to move around, and it shouldn't be this difficult. And there should be plans in place to account for the fact that we are growing at such a fast rate. So what this plan does, it begins to start to really account for the people who are pushed out to the corners of Davidson County. It's about everyone. It's not just about people who live in certain neighborhoods or people who do certain versions of transportation. If you drive a car, if you walk on a sidewalk, if you ride the bus, if you believe that there should be more safety pedestrian safety all across the city, then this plan is for you. It is truly in the name. It's built into the name. Choose how you move. No matter how you choose to move around this city, this plan makes it better. This plan accommodates for that. And then additionally, it is something that, quite honestly, is a relatively small investment in our future. A 0.5% sales tax increase accounts to approximately $6 a month or $70 annually per household per year. That's a relatively small investment for what ultimately is a big step forward for our city. We've been stuck. We've been stuck for too long. We've been trying and not getting off the starting line for too long. This plan is about making it easier for people just simply to get in and out of the city, for your rush hour traffic to be just a little bit easier. It's going to make traffic a little bit easier, and that's why this plan is built for the entire city and why we are so excited about the support of a great community organization like NOAA. Thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Jeff. We've just about run out of time, and we're grateful for the time that we've had, for the news people that were here with us. We are available. I know Jeff's available. We're available to answer any questions. And you're going to be hearing from us again because we plan to go to the community, to NOAA has 74 churches, synagogues, mosques, unions, and nonprofits. We're going to go to the community. We're going to make the case, and we're going to get you to come out and vote. So thank you for the time. Everyone have a great day.